the first thing we're going to do is fill the bag with soil. Actually, we're not going to fill it up. We're only going to put about 4 inches in. And I have here a good container mix of soil, and we're going to put this in, and we're going to get it up to about 4 inches in depth. Shake it here, and you can see the soil in the bottom here, but we wanted about 4 inches. So this is my measuring stick. It's marked here at about 4 inches. So I just put it in there and see, and lo and behold, it's right there at 4 inches. However, if it goes a little deeper, a little less, at Spudnik Garden, I think I can say this, it's not rocket science. Okay, so if you're close, you're good. Okay, now, seed potatoes. Once you get that in, well, before you do the seed potatoes though, you do have to put some fertilizer in there and mix it in. Now, I have here one that's made for root crop. It's an organic fertilizer, which I recommend that you get. The nitrogen, potassium, or nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium count is 3-4-3. In other words, the potassium is a little higher, which is what you want for a root crop like potatoes. So when you find a fertilizer, you want something that has a little bit higher phosphorus level to use. You can use a standard like a 10-10-10 or a 4-4-4, but it'd be better if you could find one a little higher in phosphorus like this. Now, I'm following the directions on the bag, so for this much soil, all I need is about 3 tablespoons. All right, now once those 3 tablespoons are in there, you can use a trowel or whatever. I'm just going to use my gloved hand, and you mix it in good. And then you level the dirt again. Okay, so now all you do is you place the seed potatoes. Now I have some Yukon Golds here, and in this size bag you can place, depending on the size of your seed potatoes, you can place up to 5. I'm probably going to place, well, maybe I'll place 5. But you see these little growth buds starting on the potatoes, and commonly they're called potato eyes. Well, now I'm going to plant the whole potato as a seed potato. You can cut these up. For instance, there's some eyes over here and some eyes here. If you wanted to cut that in half and plant 2 halves, you could. But I'm not going to do that. But what you do want is look at your potato, and where the side that has the most of the grow buds, the most eyes, that you want planted up. So I'm going to plant this. They're almost all on the top, so I'll just plant this like this. And here's another one. Again, the eyes are on one side pretty much. And here's one that's kind of across the side, so I'll plant it down like this. And here's another one. This was interesting. They're all at one end, so that's how I'll plant it. Now, I'll take another one here. It's on 2 sides, so I'll plant it like this, and I'll put this one in the middle. Actually, I don't like this one. It's a little soft, so I'm going to put it aside and get a better one. Okay, here's one very similar, so I'll plant it down like that. Okay. Now, I want you to be able to see this. This is going to be a little bit difficult to see mainly, but what I have is I have them spread out. If you can see it all, you don't want them crowded together, so I spread them out as much as I can possibly spread them out in the bag, if you see that. Okay, because you don't want them jammed real close together. Okay, so let me readjust these. Okay, now that you have those planted, you want to cover them with about 3 inches of soil. So I have some additional soil here, and I'm going to put some of this in, and we're going to cover them with about 3 inches. Now I can use my same marker stick. This is 4 inches, so about 1 inch below that. And what I do is I probe around till I find a potato and see what the depth is. Okay, and the depth is a little light, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Still a little light, so a little more. That should be about right there. And so, yeah, that's good. And so we've got about 3 inches. The potatoes covered about 3 inches of soil. That's all we want. Okay, that's as far as you fill it, because as the potatoes grow, the shoots will come up, they'll leaf out. When they grow about 6 inches above the surface of the soil, you add more soil, always leaving about 2 inches of the leaves above the soil so the sun can hit it and keep growing. But what happens is, along that stem, it puts out shoots and makes more potatoes. If you've ever planted potatoes in the ground, it's the same principle as hilling the potatoes as they go. But you also, at this point, since you added more soil, you need to add a little more fertilizer. Now, since I have less soil this time, I'm only going to put in a couple of tablespoons of the fertilizer. Okay, and then once again you mix it in. Now, the potatoes are planted. That's all there is to it. Now we would want to water this in. Now this soil is fairly moist, but you want to water it in, and you want to keep the soil moist, not wet, because if it's wet, you'll only rot the potatoes. But keep it moist. Potatoes like moist soil, and that also helps to water in the fertilizer, because the nutrients in the fertilizer have to go into solution in water for the plants to be able to take it up. Okay, and once that's done, then all you have to do is wait for the potatoes to grow, and as they start growing and they get about, like I said, about 6 inches above, you add more soil, so you add a little bit more fertilizer. When they grow up another 6 inches, you add a little more soil, about 4 inches worth. Keep the 2 inches of the leaves above it, and you keep doing that till you get to the top, and then leave about 1 inch from the top so you have a little water reservoir for it. Once you do that, you just let them grow. Now potatoes are good, because when potatoes grow, when they're done, and this will be probably a couple months down the road, they'll start turning yellow and start falling over. And when that happens, when those plants start doing that, the potatoes are matured. Now you can wait, it's best to wait for about a week to 2 weeks after that. I wouldn't wait more than about a week after that, and to harvest them. And all you have to do is take the bag, dump it in a fertilizer, dig out the potatoes, and you've got them. Now you can keep that soil and reuse it someplace else in your garden too. So that's it. That's how you grow potatoes in a grow bag. But if you'll wait just a minute, we'll show you what it looks like when they start coming up. Okay, that's it.